Well, buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to rise and shine, travelers. That's right, straight from the highly caffeinated studio. This is According to Willie B, and I, Will Bryce, am your host for the next half hour. But first, we must remember that today, the 26th day of May 2025, is Memorial Day, and we need to make sure that we remember why we celebrate Memorial Day, because the men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice with their life for our country and our freedom. So we thank them for their service, as well as the men and women who are currently serving today. But this week, I'm going to take you to a little town over in Texas called Gruene. Now, it's not spelled Green like the color. No, it is Gruene because it's a German town. Speaking of German towns, there's another one right next to it, actually connected by land, if you will, called New Braunfels. And if you've ever been to that area, you know what it's famous for, and we're going to talk about that. But let's dive in, and when I say more towns in Texas, don't roll your eyebrows at me. This is going to be fun. I've got a lot of information here to give you that I hope I can pack into 30 minutes. So let's get started. So first of all, Gruene was established over a decade ago. So it's been there a while. But there is something very interesting in the town of Gruene, besides some of my favorite stomping places. And one of those is the Gruene Dance Hall. Now, this dance hall is very famous. It has had so many things throughout the history of it. It was built in 1878, which is just a tish south of my birthday. Yes, a very big tish, if you will. But the building itself is still the original building, 6,000 square feet, and it has launched the careers of people such as George Strait. I'm sure you've heard of him before. Matter of fact, in 2009, George did his album cover with the picture of Gruene Dance Hall in the background. So there's that. You can go check that out. In 2006, there was a movie called Coyote Funeral. I personally am not familiar with that film, but they say that it was filmed there as well. But you may remember a movie in 1996 called Michael, and that was a very famous movie that was also filmed on location there. So it has had its share of history. It still operates with live music. I know for a fact on the weekends, I'm not sure of their complete schedule. You can go online. They have a very elaborate website that you can check, and it'll give you all the details of the coming artists and stuff that they have. It is a really cool place to check out when you're there on the weekend. It's usually not packed during the day, so you can kind of just walk around and enjoy the grounds. You can stand up on the stage, or at least you have been in the past. They may have changed that, but you can stand up on stage, have your picture taken, etc., etc. Do the whole touristy thing, But one of the things that I love about Gruene, besides the Como River and the Guadalupe River, because both of those are so much fun. Whether you want to kayak, whether you want to take the tube down the river, just remember the temperature of that water. If you decide to dip your little piggies into that water, it is very cold. It will get your attention real quick. But hey, on a Texas hot summer day, it is very welcomed. It just takes us kind of a second to get used to it. But in the town of Gruene, there is the Gruene General Store. And I know you've heard me talk about different general stores in different small towns. And they all seem to have their own uniqueness about them. And this one is no different. They have the old timey like soda fountain with the soda jerk back there. And man, they literally can just make you anything that you can dream of, coming out of a old time soda fountain. They have candies and fudge and any kind of hot sauce or relish. I mean, t-shirts, hats, um, Texas boots. I mean, I could go on for probably hours of what all is in this general store. If there's something that you haven't seen in a long time, it's probably in there. If there's something that you see in there you didn't even know existed, that's probably in there too. But I digress when it comes to that because literally they have every single thing that you could imagine and then some. But, I do. I love that general store. Out of all of them that I've told you about, that one's probably my favorite. I know I have a long list of favorites on those, but that one really has to be at the top of the list. But go check it out. And you can actually see a lot of pictures. There's a ton of pictures online. Just go and Google the Green General Store. Right next door, there's another mercantile called Cotton Eye Joe. And it's almost like a continuation of what they have in the general store. I think it's a little more, I wouldn't say upscale, but it's, some really nice merchandise in there, especially if you're looking for hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, etc., etc. But really cool place. Definitely worth checking out. If you go and you decide that you are hungry, the first place I'm going to tell you about, sometimes I tell you about restaurants in different towns. I'm like, in this no particular order. Well, this one's in particular order. This one, there's a reason this one's first. And it is called the Grist Mill. And it overlooks the Guadalupe River. And it is probably one of the coolest vibes of a restaurant. It's set up in the side of a hill, so you can sit inside or outside. And even in the dead of summer when it's hot, July, August, they have fans, etc., out there that, kind of keep it down to a where you don't scorch to death. And you can actually sit out there and enjoy a meal and look over the river. But I will tell you that the food portions at the grist mill are a little bit large. So you plan on having an appetite. They've got onion rings that they bread in-house. And if you order that platter of onion rings, you better have brought some help because, man, and they are so good. I love that they have the black pepper flakes. Not overwhelmed, but just there's like little black pepper flakes, and it's just really flavored well. Their onion rings are just top notch. They also have a monster chicken fried steak. Now, I'm going to stop right there and make a disclaimer. So if you are, it seems to be anything outside of Texas, and I say chicken fried steak, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Because here in North Carolina, if you order a chicken fried steak, they're like, what kind of chicken do you want? I'm like, no, chicken fried steak. So they call it country fried steak. So whether you call it country fried steak, chicken fried steak, and we've had this discussion before, but it seems to always come up. But, I digress. But they bread it in-house, and it is a monster, and you better be hungry. And like I said, you better take some help because you're going to need it. But the Grist Mill is one of my favorite restaurants in Gruene. If you find yourself there for the whole weekend, I've got some more places for you to try. And this next one is called the Green River Grill. This place is almost like the Cotton Eye Joe I just told you about. It's like a continuation of the Grist Mill, but with a little bit different vibe and a little bit different menu. But the food is just as phenomenal. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Take it from a foodie. Same thing. They've got a monster chicken. They've got some burgers there on their menu. You will not go wrong with their burgers. And I'm telling you, the food there is just absolutely phenomenal. If you're want something a little bit different because you're in Texas. So if you're looking for that Tex-Mex vibe, I've got it for you. And it is called the Cantina del Rio. So there you go, kitchen on the river. But it is such a fun fiesta, kind of like a fun festive vibe going on in there. I mean, it's almost like it's a party when you walk in. And I don't mean like rambunctious. It's just their whole facade, their whole decor inside. It has just this festive vibe about it. And they have some of the best fajitas in the area that you'll find. And I recommend getting the combination of the chicken and the beef. Normally, I don't care for chicken fajitas. There are dishes that are meant for chicken, and I'm just not a fajita chicken person. If I'm going to eat fajitas, I want beef. And it's almost like when they do shrimp fajitas and they do chicken fajitas, it's like imposters, okay? It's like turkey bacon. No, 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 no. We're not having that. So fajitas are meant to be beef, but their chicken fajitas, I gotta say, they're really good. So I recommend trying the combo. But very good restaurant. The food is absolutely phenomenal. As a foodie, I wholeheartedly recommend it. And I got a couple more places that I'll get to in a minute. But you know, the thing about Gruene is you could spend an entire day in the town of Gruene. You've got the historic district, and they've got all those shops and everything to walk through. You've got the Gruene Dance Hall. There's usually some kind of music or musician out on the square that plays music on the weekend. Now, let me just go ahead and warn you. If you go to Gruene during the summer, you're going to find a lot of crowds. That place is so popular. And one of the reasons, I mean, it has popularity in its own right, but you also have New Braunfels that's butted right up against it. And it also draws a lot of crowds. So you get a lot of people in a very, I wouldn't say a small, square foot area, but it can get pretty crowded. The streets can get crowded. It can be a mess, but I'm sorry, it's worth it. I would fight the crowds and the traffic every day for that because it's just an absolute blast. And if you haven't been, I promise you need to go. You've also, in that area, you got the Natural Bridge Caverns, which is, they actually have the largest cavern in the state of Texas. And that is in its own right a very cool attraction. So if you're looking for something to, beat the heat, so to speak, then the Natural Bridge Caverns is a great place to do it because you're underground and the sun can't get you. But it is definitely a cool place to check out. They've also got an animal park for the kids. They can feed the animals by hand. They have a train that runs through there where you can get the little bucket of feed and you can feed the animals. They'll come right up to the train, let the kids feed the animals, the goats and the llamas, and I don't know. There's a lot of four-legged furry animals out there that will come right up to the train for you to feed. So that's a cool experience, especially if you got a family. If you're looking for something to take the whole family to do, that's a good place to do it. Because, like I said, you get down in the cavern, it's nice and cool, get everybody out of the heat. Then you have Rockin' R River rides. And what this place does is they're one of the, if I'm not mistaken, they're one of the oldest rental places there in, let's call it Gruene/New Braunfels area, that rents the kayaks and the tubes and the canoes and if it floats, they rent it. Trust me, if it floats, they rent it. And you pick your choice of poison of what you want to float down the river on. And that's another thing I'm going to tell you. I can remember as a kid floating down the Guadalupe River in the summer, and what we called crowds back then, you know, was nothing compared to what it is today. It is insane. And especially if you go on a holiday weekend, Memorial Day, 4th of July, et cetera, it is worse than the traffic on the Katy Freeway. I mean, I don't know how much floating you're doing. You're just standing still because it gets so clogged. But, I would definitely not go on a holiday weekend, but it's definitely worth checking out. And, if you got kids and you're not really sure about putting them in an inner tube floating down the river, then you've always got the Schlitterbahn Water Park. And, there you go. You can stay wet and cooled off all day long, and the kids are riding the rides, and you get to man the picnic basket. That's just a really cool place. I think that the Schlitterbahn in New Braunfels is actually, or was, the largest of the, I think, 3 parks that they have. And but you can check them out online, get all the ticket prices and everything. But Schlitterbahn has always been a tried and true staple when it comes to water parks. In my opinion, I think they are actually what I would consider the grandfather of water parks, because where we grew up, it basically started with Schlitterbahn. And then as you grew up and you expanded out traveling and what have you, you're like, oh, well, now this place has a water park. And we always compared it to Schlitterbahn because they were the first. They were the original. And I don't know that they were. They were just the original to us. And so we considered them to be the grandfather of water parks. Excuse me. If you're going to go on over into New Braunfels and spend a day, which is more than doable, because they've got a lot of shopping, they've got a lot of stuff to do over there, as well as floating. But there's more. Before I get away from the river, they are also one of the top spots in Texas for trout fishing. Who knew that? I honestly never knew that for years. You mentioned New Braunfels to me. I'm thinking, okay, I'm putting my butt in a tube and I'm floating down the river. But, then come to find out, they're one of the top fly fishing areas for trout. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I never knew that all my years growing up. Well, all my years getting older. I'm not quite sure about the growing up part, but I digress on that. They also have the annual Wurst Fest. And you're thinking to yourself, what? So, Wurst, W-U-R-S-T, I'm having trouble spelling, is a German sausage. And they have a festival on that every year. And it is the Wurst Fest. But it also is the best Wurst Fest, if that makes sense. But it's really cool. It's worth checking out. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the dates of that. I believe they have changed a little bit. So you might want to check for current dates and stuff on that one. There's also, if you like nostalgia, as I do, there is an old-timey drive-in. That's right, the big screen, you drive your car in, you got this little speaker you put on your window, etc. And it's called Stars and Stripes Drive-In. That's definitely a family activity that you could do at night. So after you've worn the kiddos out at the water park and they're waterlogged, now you can hang them up to drip dry at the drive-in theater and give them some popcorn, let them kind of chill out for the rest of the day. And hopefully they'll sleep the rest of the night and give you some rest because, after all, you guarded the picnic basket all day. So, and then if you're into, I had an interesting email the other day, and somebody had asked me, I believe the person's name was Tiffany R. I believe she was from Idaho, and she asked me, she said, I really like ghost tours, and she said, I wish you would let me know in the areas that you travel if you run into any more really good ghost tours, and she had went to the one in Jefferson that I suggested. If you want to find that out, you can go back and listen to that episode. It's labeled Jefferson, and she said that ghost tour was phenomenal, and she's into the whole, reading her email, she's into the whole paranormal thing, right? Well, for me, not so much. To me, I've been on one ghost tour, you've been on them all, but evidently not, because that's the only one I ever been on that really kind of creeped me out. I'm not going to say scared me, but it creeped me out. There is a ghost tour in New Braunfels. I've done it once, and it was okay. I thought it was more funny than anything. I thought our guide was very humorous. It was a lot of laughs, but they didn't have access to go into buildings at nighttime. And to me, that's where you really need that extra to get into those buildings to kind of really give it that creepy vibe. Standing out in front of a closed business at nighttime, I can go downtown somewhere and do the same thing. I just won't have the stories to go with it, but I can make stuff up. But there is one other place I'll tell you about for entertainment, and it is called, and this is fairly new, but it's called the Whitewater Amphitheater. And this place is really cool. And I mean, it's massive too, man. I mean, it's Texas, so they got the area to do it, right? And they have where they, put on big concerts and venues and stuff. And man, what a great place to do that, because they've already got the large crowds coming into town. So, man, what a great addition that was. And it just gives you, one more thing to take the family to at nighttime, daytime, whatever, whenever they have something going on. So I'm going to tell you about a place to eat in New Braunfels. Now, this place is really good. It's family owned. It's been around for generations, literally. And they just continually have family members that step up and keep growing this thing. And it's called a Black's Barbecue. It, to me, in that area, because like I said, every area of Texas has their own account for what barbecue is. And for me, Black's Barbecue in that area is the best of the best in that area. I can go a couple towns over, and I've got a favorite over there. It's kind of like tamales in Texas. I could take you to San Antonio and really show you some great tamales, or I can show you some great tamales right there in Gruene or New Braunfels. But the best ones are in San Antonio, and we may be talking about that in the next few weeks, because I had an opportunity over there. So be looking for that to come down the pipe pretty soon. But, going to Gruene and New Braunfels, you could take a weekend, and it would be so packed with activities and things to do and things to see that your head would spin. One word of caution that I will give you, if you've never been to that area, some of those creek beds, they dry up a little bit, not completely, during the summertime. And so it leaves these massive slabs of granite and slate that, when they've been covered with water, they get very slick. Now, I don't care how agile you are, you will become a clumsy clown when you're trying to stand on one of those rocks with that slime on there. And it's not slime like a green slime. It's just this film, and it's just really slick. If you're from up north and you can stand up on ice, you might do pretty good. Just understand that when you go down, you're not going to bounce. It's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt more than your pride. I'll just give you that heads up on that one. But you'll see people just pull over on the side of the road at a little bridge, and there's a little hole of water left that hasn't dried up, and it's perfect for just splashing around in the water. It's usually, you can find some areas that'll be ankle deep, some will be knee deep, some be waist deep. But it's really cool water, and it's just a really good time in the Texas heat. And I promise you, in the Texas heat, you're always looking for a way to cool down. But Gruene and New Braunfels are two of my favorite areas to visit in Texas, especially during the summertime. So much great food, so much great things to see and do. It doesn't matter whether you're by yourself or just you and your spouse, significant other, your family, doesn't matter. There's something for everybody in those two towns. They got a lot going on. But go check out that Gruene dance hall. I promise you, that is a really cool vibe. And then after you go see it, then see the dance hall first. Then go watch the movie Michael. It'll kind of shock you, and I'm not gonna give a spoiler on that. But just watch it. You'll see. That's all I have for this week as far as our little virtual tour. I do have one quick announcement. T-shirts, or merch, we'll call it. The T-shirt designs, I've uploaded what I have right now up on our website, www.accordingtowillieb.com, and you can see the designs. I will have live pictures of the T-shirts completely completed, where you can tell more about what it looks like on a T-shirt. We'll have different colors. We'll have different sizes. And of course, there's going to be free shipping. I actually got, last week, I counted 127 emails strictly telling me thank you for that I'm going to offer free shipping on the T-shirt. I was blown away. I'm like, okay, well, glad that was well received. But, so go check out www.accordingtowillieb.com and scroll about halfway down on the page, and you'll see the T-shirt designs. And there's going to be more coming. But until I talk to you again next week, don't forget to caffeinate and conquer. And I will see you right back here 1 week from today. Have a great day.